Hello and welcome to this week's angel reading. I'm Rachel Scoltock. I'm an angel medium and an intuitive energy therapist. And today I'm working with two decks. I've got the Native Spirit deck because I think Mother Earth is talking to us at the moment, and what better than to go to the native indigenous side of things to ask for guidance. And also the Power Tarot deck by Radley Valentine and Doreen Virtue. So 9th of September 2017, this is for the week ahead. So let's get started. The first card that I pulled for you, this is an amazing reading actually, because all three of the cards are major arcana cards. So in the 78 card deck, there is only 21 of them that are major. And so it's really unusual when you're doing a 3-card reading to get that percentage of major arcana cards, which always says that this is big life-changing stuff. This is important times. And at the moment, I feel like the message that is coming through is about being shaken up by events that are in front of our eyes and in our hearts to wake up. So we are seeing things going on around the world on the news. We're seeing things going on in our weather in different places of the world. And those things are big, huge things. And maybe things are going on in your life too, where it's like shaking you a little bit, like what's going on here. And this is an invitation for you to have a look, not only at what's going on externally, but look at what's going on internally, as knowing that the universe is always showing us what we need to know. So on a big scale and on a little scale, what is it that you can do? What changes do you need to make in order for balance and harmony and peace to come back into your life? I feel quite strongly about this. So I'm working with the angels. I always work with the angels. The angels are pure love and light. They're protective, they're loving, and they're teachers and guides. And they want us to work it out, and they want to guide us to the answer. But of course, us stubborn humans, we're not always listening, are we? We're quite often in our egos. We're always thinking about anger or revenge or those people, blame and shame and guilt and greed and all of those kind of things. Our individual journey, we're not always thinking about how we affect the greater good. And when we see people who are not really coming from a really good space, who aren't thinking about the greater good, they're only thinking about their own power and their own gain, then we criticize those kind of people. We know them that are in the public eye or are in government that are behaving like that. And that's quite scary. But that's reflecting something in ourselves. And that's not to say that we can't be selfish, as in we need to think about survival, we need to think about looking after, and self-care is the opposite of selfishness, because the more full up you are of love, of harmony, of nature, of abundance, the more you have to share, the more generous that you get, as long as your heart is open. But if you think only of hoarding and gathering, and because you're thinking of fear and people are going to take it from me, that's what blows things up. That's what ruins relationships, when one person gets selfish and scared and insecure, and they want to control that person. They want to make that person adhere to their way of being. That's destructive. That takes away from the greater good, the higher blessing. That we always get a blessing when we think about the highest good. We always get a personal blessing when we do something for the greater good. It might not come directly. And when you act out of forgiveness and out of your heart and out of love, that always brings enormous blessings too. So I can really feel the angels around me today as I give this reading. So taking us on a journey are the cards. So this one is the 0 card. It's right at the beginning of the deck. It's the leap of faith. And it shows a character going on a journey. He's got his bag. He's got his dog with him. He's got the angel behind him. And he's somewhere beautiful, and he's going somewhere beautiful. And this card is really, it is a leap of faith. It's about getting out of your comfort zone to take yourself on a journey. Now that might be physically that you're going somewhere. You're going on an adventure, or you're going to move location, or you're going to change jobs. But it can also mean the journey of yourself. maybe you've got to take a leap of faith and come more from your heart rather than from the selfish side. Maybe you've got to solve a problem by coming at it from a different perspective and take a leap of faith that there is good and there is love and there is abundance for you in this universe. So it's taking a step that's taking you out of your comfort zone, but it's to a good place. It's towards beauty and love and abundance. It's a really, really beautiful card. So the first card is always the present situation. It's what's in front of you, like a dinner that's laid out in front of you. This is the direction that you can take. This is the theme of the week ahead. Now the second card is decisions. So here we see an angel holding a cage, and the birds have flown from the cage, all except one. And that bird is sitting there in fear. So he's not taking his leap of faith. He's sitting, even though the cage door is open and he can see the way forward, and he's maybe even thought about going or thought about changing, thought about making a different path in life, a different decision. Fear is keeping him stuck. He feels safe in the cage. And isn't that right, that sometimes we feel safer with the way things are, even if the way things are uncomfortable, even if the way things are a prison, even if it's easier to go for anger, revenge, resentment, and blame and shame instead of taking a new direction. We tend to sit with that because it's what we know. So this is the decision. Now, this card in traditional tarot is about ego. It's about the negative self, the feeling chained down, and the lower self that holds you down, the lower thoughts. So if we look at it in the bigger picture, the fear in the world, that is still an undercurrent there, is driving certain behaviors and certain ways of being. And that's actually destructive to the greater good and to the individual. I read something the other day in Florence Scovel-Shinn where she says that when you take a journey, in a spiritual journey, and you start to become more spiritual, you start to become more aware, you understand that there's something bigger than you going on, and that you are 50, half spirit, half physical. You're not just a physical being living a life, working, earning money, and then you die. There's so much more going on than that. There's so much more to you. So what Florence says is that when you are aware of that, your karma comes so much more quickly. And what she means is the reaction to your thoughts. So if you put revenge, anger, jealousy, fear, negativity, bullying, all that stuff out there in the world, it hits you back pretty quickly when you are a spiritually aware person, because you've left the dimension, the very limited dimension of ego, and you've become aware of the bigger dimension, which means you start to have an effect on the bigger dimension. Things manifest more quickly for you on both sides, good and bad. So you have to be very, very careful of what thoughts and energies you're putting out into the world, and try as much as possible to put the good stuff. And even if you have to catch yourself, halfway through something or after something and go back and apologize, then at least you're recreating the energy. You're not going to have that karma hit you quite so quickly. Now, people that haven't reached in spiritual dimensions, that haven't come to that awareness, it's much slower. The karma is much slower to reach them. And so we all sit around and go, how come those people can get away with it? Well, they're getting away with it because they were living in that negative dimension. Now, that's not something desirable, because it's still an unpleasant place to be. Who wants to be that? Who wants to be creating that in the world? But you're a spiritual being. You know this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. The angels are with you, and the angels aren't in charge of punishing you or rewarding you. That's not the way it works. It's the energy. We live in an energy-based universe. It's cause and effect. So what you put out will come back to you. When you don't leap, when there's a leap of faith coming, the universal energies will kick you in the butt because you'll start to get all of these really pressured situations that are kind of forcing you that way. So it's another way of looking at karma, but karma isn't punishment. It's just energy reflecting back at you. The outcome card, because basically the message is make a decision and make the change. The outcome card is new beginnings. So this is a beautiful card. It's like it's a blessing. The angel in the card is blessing the family. And they're saying, look at all the stuff that's gone before. And a lot of us are doing that right now. We're seeing our lives as if it's in a picture book. And we can see what's happened and why things have been created the way they've been created. And then we have to bless them and let them go. We can't sit in blame and shame and sadness about something that happened yesterday, 2 days ago, 10 days ago, or 10 years ago, because that karma is just going to keep swirling around us and keep us stuck in that energy. We have to bless it and let it go and say, thank you. If not for you, I would not be walking on this path right now that I'm on. There are opportunities for happiness and blessings from all of the stuff that you've gone through. And that's where this card leaves us, because it's really saying you've got to look at the wisdom and move forward with your newfound wisdom. When you realize your ego is holding you back, you can move forward, you can be free, you can cut those chains, you can open that cage door and be free and move forward. So there's brand new beginnings coming. And it like I said, it doesn't have to be like the new job, the new house, the new partner. What it can be is just a fresh new perspective on life. It's a paradigm shift, and that's what we've been talking about for the last 5 years, this paradigm shift that has come, that is taking us to a different dimensional frequency of living, of seeing, of being. It doesn't necessarily mean the world is going to blow up, end, and we're going to start again on a different planet. That's not what it is. It's a dimensional change. We're living in a new era of energy. And so if we choose that, we choose that. If we choose the old, we keep on battling the old. This is the card from the Denise Lynn deck, Native Spirit, and it's owl medicine. And, you know, the owl is really important. She represents the feminine power. And in some native cultures, the female, the woman, was something that people were afraid of. Not in a negative way, but because they recognized the power that women held inside of them, how strong they are, and how they can hold the magic and the intuition and the creativity. So that's not to say that men should fear women, but this owl is representing the feminine power, which we all have, men and women have inside of us, to create if we get in touch with our hearts and get in touch with the Mother Earth. And also it's representing clairvoyance and messages from spirit, messages. So it's asking you to go within, because this is an important time for you. There are important messages coming through. So no matter what's going on in the outside, it's important to withdraw from all of that and go inside for answers. And your angels, your spirit guides, the earth, divine spirit will be speaking to you. There are important messages coming through. So with lots of love, thank you so much for watching my videos and supporting my work. And I've got a course coming up, which is Intuitive Angel and Energy Therapy. That's coming up in November in Coffs Harbour. We often have interstate students and international students coming for it, so you're most welcome. There's an airport nearby. There is it's held in a hotel, so there are rooms and you can stay there. And it's 2 weekends, November and February. Learn everything there is to know about opening your intuition, connecting genuinely to the angels, and learning all that you need to know to clear energy and to heal with energy. And as I say, this is starting on November the 4th and 5th in Coffs Harbour, New South Wales. So if you'd like to know more, get in touch, and I'll look forward to hearing from you. Have a great week. Angel blessings.